Welcome back. For our second book review, I'm joined in the studio by first-time author Melina Lewis. She's written a novel set in the seaside town of Fishhook, Cape Town, and it's titled After You Died. It explores death and grief, as well as coming back from all of that, and she joins me in studio now. Thank you so much for joining us. First-time author, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about your journey into the literary world.
Sure. Quite interesting in terms of actually getting a book out there, but I just couldn't keep the story in my head any longer.
Right.
I had thought about it. I was running with 3 friends, and we were running in Fishhook in the dark in the evenings, and it actually inspired the story when I'd heard about someone who'd had an accident here in Cape Town, here in Joburg, and so the story started to evolve in my head. What would happen if one of us was mistakenly killed while we were running? And slowly it started to sit in my head, and I couldn't keep it in anymore, and so I just started to write.
It's such an emotive read, and when you start to contemplate, because most of us don't contemplate our mortality, do we? We always think,
we avoid
why must we talk about death?
Yeah,
we avoid it.
exactly.
And in this book, you journey the 7 stages
Yes.
of grief, but you also make them very particular to each character.
Yes.
Let's start with the beginning, the 4 friends who are just, as you mentioned, going through life happy about it, and this tragedy occurs.
Yeah, so basically I'm quite fascinated by how often the universe pushes us into a situation to make us change, to make us evolve, to get us out of our rut. And this was that shift for those 4, the 3 girls that are left behind, and then all the other people that are affected by the death of this young girl, and how then their lives are kick-started into another road, another way forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how in one of the stages of grief, we also look at the taxi driver who happened
Yes.
to knock over one of the girls. Not oftentimes do we hear of the person who's actually on the other side. We always see, oh, someone's got in an accident, and we're feeling really bad about it, but you never hear the story of the person who actually caused the accident. Why was it important that you tell his story as well?
Well, as you say, I think that person, he was never in this book, he never intended to hurt anybody. He was just trying to get back, to the taxi rank as fast as he could. And it was a mistake. It was a terrible mistake, but a mistake that he now has to live with. And then he has a physical injury as well. And so what does it feel like to live with that burden? And working through that, and he's still a good person, he's still a good guy, and how does one go forward with one's life, even though you've made a terrible mistake?
Talk about feelings. How did you feel in this entire journey? I mean, this is so hectic. I mean, like, emotionally, it must have really taken its toll on you as well.
It did, but as I was writing, there were some parts where I would have a good little cry, and then there were other parts where it was lighter and it was easier, and other things in terms of friendship complicated, and you draw from different aspects of your life and try and weave it into the story. So so when it was getting too heavy, then I would
try and get back into the light.
Exactly.
What are you hoping that someone that reads this book will walk away with?
I think the primary thing is that it's set in South Africa. I like reading books in South Africa, and the feedback that I've had from a lot of people was that, oh my goodness, I like that you used South African language, that you placed it in a place that we could go, and some of the people in Fishhook would drive around and look for the roads, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But I think to be entertained, to think a little bit harder about maybe accepting something that pushes you as a person to make a shift and a change in your life. I think that would be the primary things from my side. But to enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's speak to what you are reading at the moment. What's on your bedside table? Let's get an idea into what the author likes.
I'm actually reading The War of Art at the moment, which is a beautiful book by Stephen Pressfield. I don't know if you've read it, but it's just lovely in terms of also that thing of encouraging us to accept that we have a creative element to all of us, whether it's craft or whether it's being an artist or whatever it is, but to defy resistance. And he talks of resistance as another person almost. And so taking it head on and doing what you love. And it's very encouraging. So I'm enjoying that. Awesome. And then Harry Potter, because of my two kids. So we're on the 6th book and it's very exciting. Those are the things we're reading.
Lovely. Thank you so much for coming through to
Pleasure.
chat to us
Thank you
this morning. Melina Lewis penned After You Die. Do stay with us. Louis has got you with the details.